Okay, just a live stream as I'm going through a magazine box. Uh, I'll pull out some cool stuff and just explain it as time goes on. I will be looking at the comments, and so I'll be answering questions and stuff. I kind of hesitated to do this way, but I wanted to be comfortable because I thought this might be a long one, and I'm not going to worry too much about audience draw in. I'm just going to kind of do it. I got to get into doing these live streams more. These days, YouTube wants every channel to do a little bit of everything: videos, shorts, live stream, all of that kind of stuff. And and so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I hesitated also because of the general mess back here. And while I kind of assume that my comics aren't as much of a mess as a lot of people's, it's messy enough. So anyway, I'm going to start. I got a magazine box down here. I'm going to start with a friend of mine. I've talked about Michael Vance on this channel before, back in the 70s, perhaps the 80s as well, or I don't know what part of the 80s, but at least 1980. He did a fanzine. Now, fanzines are one of those things that fanzines were a lot of work. You had to organize people, you had to organize talent, you had to, get just putting the whole thing together is difficult enough. But so fanzines are not easy. And I always have my hat is always off to people who were able to do fanzines. And his was called Crypt of Comics. I'm not going to go necessarily through in order, but I'm going to show this one first that takes a nod at the old EC horror magazines, and I think that's great. I love that. And Creative Graphics was the name of his company or publisher or whatever you want to call it. And so Crypt of Comics was the name of his comics fanzine, and so he autographed this one for me, which I really appreciate. All the way back in 07. But got some caricatures up here of the Crypt Keeper, Michael Vance. That's him right. Got to figure out which finger. Okay, there. That's him right there. And then the cartoonist, whoever that was. And who's this thing down here? Almighty Zorch. Almighty Zorch. So, I can't explain all the characters to you, but, just kind of a cool looking zine. And as you would expect, lots of drawings, lots of funny pages done by, independent amateur cartoonists. Some news, some interviews. I believe that Crypt of Comics may have been where he did his interview with Alex Toth. That was, of course, reprinted by Alter Ego years ago. But so anyway, I like this. Here's a little blurb here, a little Gag-A-Day panel. It says, I'll read the caption, then I'll show you the picture. Take your finger out of your ear and listen. I'll say it once more. Take me to your leader. And so you have an alien here talking to a gas pump. Take your finger out of your ear and listen. Take me to your leader. Okay, so some pretty cool humor there on the amateur level. Okay. I'm not sure how much noise the heater is causing, but oh well, can't really do anything about that. I don't want to freeze. So anyway, he did Crypt of Comics for quite some time. He also did a collection here of 4 of them, put them in a, this is really dilapidated cover. But the Cryptoc for short, Crypt of Comics 1 through 4 the first year. So quarterly book or quarterly news, quarterly fanzine, Crypt of Comics, my creative graphics. I was going to try to find, there was a really cool Batman illustration done by one of the artists. Let's see if I can locate that again. Oh, but I'm having trouble doing that. Oh, well, that's not the right one. Here we go. This is going to be the one. Let me see if I can. Okay, here we go. This is an illustration by Stan Timmons, who was the regional editor out of Lafayette, Indiana. Pretty cool Batman illustration there. The flowing cape against the moonlight, the silhouetted against the moonlight. Very cool. So again, just going through the magazine box, seeing what all I have in here. Because my collection is in such a state. It's in a state. Now, not totally disorganized. Just a lot of stuff that's been bought over the last couple of years and not been filed. That's why. So if it looks like a big mess back behind me, it kind of is. Now, obviously not the stuff in the boxes on the shelves, but the stuff in the foreground. All right? So anyway, there's a few of those Crypto Comics fanzines of Michael Vance's from years past. Okay. Marvel's heroes, heavies, and heroines. The envelope has seen better days, but there's a great John Byrne Wolverine image there. It's been a while since I've had these out and looked at them. I believe this is missing a few, but you had this is definitely missing a few, but you had prints done here by John Beatty, Bill Black, John Byrne, Michael Golden, Michael Hernandez, Michael Kaluta, Gil Kane, Jack Kirby, Ken Landgraf, Bob McLeod, Jerry Ordway, George Perez, Marshall Rogers, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Mike Zeck, all this was a portfolio from 1981 for $6. $6. And there was the frontis. Is that a word? Frontis, Frontice. Anyway, the front page before all of the, or the front illustration page before the prints. So anyway, let's start. I don't think I have all of them, but here's Michael Golden. I think all of these are inked by Bill Black. Michael Golden Batman, inked by Bill Black. These are also all, they're not full, they're kind of limited color illustrations, but that's cool. Early in 1981, Michael Golden Batman image. Can't beat it with a stick. A Mike Kaluta, inked by Bill Black, shadow image. I love that. Soak it in. Soak it up. Soak it up. Here's a Gil Kane. Doesn't look like Black inked this one. Gil Kane, Green Lantern. Again, these were circa 1981. This one actually, character DC Comics 1982. Interesting. This is dated 1982, even though the frontispiece said 1981 for the collection. Interesting. Oh well, doesn't matter. Here is, looks like Phantom Lady. Is that right? Phantom Lady? Is that a person? Is that a character? It's a DC character, so I'm not real familiar. Landgraf, who's an artist with the last name Landgraf, inked by Bill Black. So Phantom Lady, I guess. Sometimes I wonder, how bad is my DC knowledge? Being a fan for 50 years. Jerry Ordway, inked by John Beatty, The Incredible Hulk. That's actually kind of a striking image there. I like that. Okay. Here's George Perez, inked by Bill Black. With a very cool Hawkeye image. Gotta love. I think John Byrne and George Perez, for sure, are my two favorite Hawkeye artists. Two favorites. Okay. Again, just plan on staying on for a while. the family's gone to play rehearsal, and I'm here by myself. Already done the dinner dishes and all that kind of stuff. Oh wow, okay. I just forgot this artist's first name. He did a lot of Batman work. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. This is why I'm using my laptop, my webcam, so I can have my phone for information. His last name's Marshall. And no one's yelling it at me because no one's watching. All right. Marshall. Batman artist. Marshall Rogers. Well, what threw me off was he signed his name, Marshall. So he just named his first name. Okay, so here's Marshall Rogers, inked by Bill Black. They made a mistake and put this on red paper, but it's a Nightcrawler image. That may be the only Nightcrawler image ever by Marshall Rogers. I don't know. Oh, my camera's being funny. Okay, so here is a Mike Zeck and Bill Black Punisher image. Ooh, I wonder if this was the first time Mike Zeck drew the Punisher. Hey, Siri. Hey, Siri. When was the first time Mike Zeck drew the Punisher?
Mike Zeck first drew the Punisher in 1986.
Yes!
Siri. This is from Wikipedia.
Thank you. Siri knows comics. Siri knows comics. And here you have the first illustration of of Punisher by Mike Zeck. Okay? Here it is. It is in the heroes, heavies and heroines portfolio from Marvel from 1981. Okay, well, Marvel, not from Marvel, Paragon Publications. I'm sorry, Paragon Publications. All right. This next one is my favorite. This one I actually had signed again, re-signed. I mean, these signatures, these are signatures that were just put on the original and then reproduced. Well, I had this artist actually sign this. I sent it away to him with some other things, and he signed it for me. First time you've ever seen Batman, well, except on the cover of, I should get that magazine. There's another magazine that has a Bill Sienkiewicz illustration of Moon Knight and Batman. But this is Moon Knight and Batman by Bob McLeod. Gotta love it. Got to love it. See, that's a Marvel DC crossover that they should do. Here's, of course, Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby's Red Skull, inked by Bill Black. Looking menacing as always. And see, that's all of them that I have. So I'm missing a few of them. However, Bob McLeod, when I sent him that Moon Knight Batman illustration, he sent me this. Another Batman illustration, again, signed by him at the bottom there. So very cool stuff. Bob McLeod, interviewed him once for interviewed him for Full Color Comics. No, it was for Suspended Animation when I was writing for Michael Vance's column, Suspended Animation. Had nothing to do with his fanzine, just reference there. But I also have here, at the time, up to 1997, have part of Bob McLeod's resume. Kind of cool. He did he printed the Batman print on the back of it, and there you go. He sent it to me like that. It's interesting. So Bob McLeod, he was a freelance storyboard artist for an ad agency in New York City in 1973. 1973 to present, freelance illustrator, working mainly on Spider-Man for Marvel Comics and Superman for DC Comics. That's interesting. I didn't know Bob worked on Superman for DC Comics. Drew a cartoon strip for Children's Television Workshops, The Electric Company magazine in 1974. 1976. Am I blurry? Why am I blurry? 1976, freelance artist for 2 ad agencies in Tampa, Florida. So anyway, some cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Okay. So anyway, that was in the magazine box. My goodness. Oh, got to get back into focus here. Oh well. Okay, I have here I don't even remember when I got this or where. I did get it for $1 out of Vintage Stock years ago. It is very beat up. But this is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Sticker Adventures. Sticker Adventures. I need to... Now, Metarog, a couple of weeks ago, showed how to use lighter fluid to get price stickers off of comics. This is a cardstock cover, so it might not be as difficult. I might not need the lighter fluid. I don't know. But what's very cool about this is it has all of the stickers and all of the places they're supposed to go in there. There's one page of stickers. Stickers. There's more stickers. This is weird. Okay. Okay. And then has the Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, The Secret of Spider-Man's Shield. And here's where the stickers go, the black and white story. I'm trying to see if it looks like, yeah, I think all the stickers are here. Because then there are more stories and more stickers. So 1984 is when this was published. Got these great. This is so tempting now to take these stickers out and to use them, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because I'm not even sure I could put a sticker on straight. I'm not that coordinated. I'm not as coordinated as a 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 6-year-old. So anyway, there's an idea of the illustrations in there. They had the shields. I forgot the toys had the shields. I never bought any. I never had any of the Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars toys. But I do know they had shields. They were like decoder shields of some type. Okay. And I don't know if they had vehicles or not. But here's a vehicle. Cap and Spidey taking off in the vehicle there. Spider-Man looks rather uncomfortable. He's having to lie down. Cap gets to sit and drive. Not Spidey. He has to lie down. Okay, and then more story, and then more stickers. Very, very cool. The stickers are cool. But it seems to me odd that the stickers would be in color and everything else black and white. I don't know. I don't know what Marvel's thoughts were there. Now, I may try dry pressing this. I don't know that it would do any good. You can see some of the wrinkles and creases, and it could be that maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if you can see them or not. Maybe I shouldn't even try, but I'm just thinking about it. Just kind of a neat little item, though. All right, I have here a page from some comic book work. It's a color proof. It's kind of cool. Suzanne Decknick, 1989, and Jeffrey Butler. And there's absolutely no other information on this. However, there's the transparency, and then it shows the inks, and then you've got just the colors there, and it's really interesting. I've never, it's the only one like this I have. So, that's different. That's something I've never seen before until I got it, and haven't seen it. Haven't seen it in a long time because I haven't gone through this box. I wonder I think I must have gotten that off of eBay, or I guess I could have picked it up at a con, I suppose. What do we got here? We got the press. Oh, that's from Robert Emmons. Okay. Barry Windsor Smith's Freebooters, the Freebooters. Young Gods. The Paradox Man. So this is a digest, a Barry Windsor Smith digest. The Young Gods and Paradox Man. Publication date on this. Not finding it right away. I am, however, seeing some great Barry Windsor Smith art. Let me get this. 1994. This no. That advertisement for the Freebooters first appeared in the Comic Buyer's Guide, issue 1080, July 29th, 1994. That is a lot of detail. Barry Windsor Smith and the Freebooters. I never read the Freebooters. So I'm wondering, I know they generally did these ash cans as promo pieces. There's the Paradox Man. Did the Paradox Man ever see print, I wonder? Tristan Kane is a man out of time. And he's the Paradox Man. And then, yeah, same guy. On both pages. I don't know if the Paradox Man ever saw a publication. Okay, so some Paradox Man action there. If I'd have known, if I'd have known what I was going to be looking at, I could have put this stuff in the title or description of the video. Young Gods. I would love to know a date on this piece. Oh my goodness, here's an advertisement for Wildcats from Image, but the type reproduced in a smaller setting in black and white, impossible to read. Not even going to try. Freebooters ash can. Okay, I'm finding some freedom in this. I don't even care if anybody watches, because if nobody watches, I'm basically finding cool stuff to put in other videos. If nobody watches this, and after a few days, if there haven't been very many viewers, I'll just delete it. Okay, what am I looking for? Freebooters ash can. Let's see what that brings up on eBay. Yeah, okay. People are asking. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about listings on eBay. People will see someone's asking here $22 for this Barry Windsor Smith Freebooters, Young Gods, Paradox Man ash can. Someone's asking $22. They'll say this is going for as much as $22. No, it's not going for as much as $22. It is someone's asking $22 for it. Another person's asking $9 for it, and it's still sitting there. Another person's asking $7.20 for it, and it's still sitting there. So there you go. But now here's something. Freebooters, I guess, did get published, at least in hardback form, because there was a couple of those on eBay for $67 and $58. So those may be generally difficult to come by. But before I went to eBay to buy them, I would check one of the bargain booksellers online. So because you never know what you might find. Those are truly a crapshoot, and you can find good stuff or not. All right, here is a. I'm gonna take this out. Oh, this puts me in mind of a short that I'm going to have to do. All right, so I'm not going to show what else is in there, but this I've had for several years. This came out in 1972 with a cardstock envelope. This came from the U.S. Postal Service. Williamsburg, Virginia, July 4th, 1972 is the postal stamp date. First day cover, Captain America and the Falcon, Creative Classics. This was poster series number 1, it said. But that's, can you see that? How close can I get that and you be able to get an idea? You get an idea. Okay. I haven't seen very, very many of these. This is very cool to me. Bought it years ago, and I just haven't seen very many of these. So has a couple little creases in it, but that's okay. That is okay. Okay, keeping that out because there's something else in there that I'm going to use. Inspiration for a short. I got a copy of Wizard number 24. What else do we have here? Crimmers, the Harvard Journal of Pictorial Fiction. This was something I picked up, and this was a 1974 publication. I don't think that it was a serial. Oh, no, it said published quarterly. Crimmers was Journal of the Narrative Arts. And so I'm guessing that it wasn't just comics and comic strips, but there's a very cool Tarzan illustration by Bern Hogarth on the cover. Okay. And from 1974. That was evidently taken from some type, that cover image was taken from some type of print, limited print, because it's numbered. Has reproduced down here. It was signed and numbered by Bern Hogarth. Has reproduced down here 27 out of 540. I don't expect you'll be able to read that, but that's what it is. So, Crimmers, the Harvard Journal of Pictorial Fiction. Well, that's interesting. So this is one that was observing not just comic strips, but gag-a-days, caricatures, okay, and such as that. I am always gratified when I see the disciplines of, and I'll just call them disciplines. They're art, but I'll call them disciplines. It takes discipline to learn to draw and paint and ink. And when I see the disciplines of comic strips or books or single panel comics, I'm always gratified to see them being treated in a scholarly fashion, studied, appreciated. There's some Winsor McCay's Little Nemo and Slumberland. Well, that's going to be hard for you to see. The black and white stuff on this low res. I need a new webcam. I think we're done with Crimmers. It's all black and white, man. It's all black and white. That's okay, though, because there's lots more in this box. Lots more. Let's see. Ooh. There's some Doc Savage. There's some Doc Savage, the Man of Bronze. Let's find out who does the art. Now, let's also find out. Oh, this is number 4. Okay. Nice cover. always liked me some Doc Savage, man. It's just a man's man. I mean, just an enhanced human being, kind of like Captain America. You know, I think he was enhanced. Now he may have just been like Batman, just been at the top of his game physically, but no superpowers to speak of, nothing like that. And yet, um, the most probably one of the most, I'd say, one of the top 5 manly comic strip characters, you know, in that realm. I'm trying to find an artist here. Oh, Marie Severin, and inked by Tony DeZuniga. So nice, Marie Severin, front splash page there, inked by Tony. I don't know why. I like the idea of just sitting here doing this live stream. I probably won't even delete it. I'll probably just leave it, even if no one ever sees it live and only few see it after the fact. But I'm going to revisit some of this stuff for videos and shorts. So great Marie Severin art. No, what am I saying? Okay, so where's Ghost Pirates from the Beyond? This says the inside front cover says Soaring Excitement and High Adventure by Doug Munch. I never can say his name. Marie Severin and Tony DeZuniga. But then at the bottom of page 1, it just says art. Art Tony DeZuniga, first 8 pages penciled by Marie Severin. Okay. Well, the whole thing could have been done by Marie Severin as far as I'm concerned. Marie's a great artist. Marie is a great artist. But it's all good. Can't go wrong with Tony either. Long story, too. Lots here. A little bit fouled up on the upper corners here. One of those printing errors where the paper didn't cut in the right place, and so you had part sticking out. That's, to me, the most annoying of all printing errors. A little more of Tony's art before we move on to something else. Very cool stuff. Anybody? Well, okay. Oh, I wish I could do the sound effects. I was about to say, anybody else like them some Doc Savage? And I realized nobody's out there. And that's perfect time to cue the audience. Oh, I don't care. I do, really. But, okay. I have 2 copies of issue number 5. There's a picture of the cover. The Earthwreckers. Gotta hate people who come in and wreck the earth. The Man of Bronze uncovers the secret of the Loch Ness Monster. Hey, that's a must read right there. Okay. Who or do we? Okay, it's same. It's Doug Munch and Tony DeZuniga. Ooh, got a Marshall Rogers illustration in here. Let's go to the Marshall Rogers illustration. Let's find where that is. Well, where would that? Surely that's not the one they're talking about. It's too small. Yep, it's a small Marshall Rogers illustration. Would that have been when Rogers was getting his start? I wouldn't think so. What's the date on this? It's going to be 1980 something. I don't know how Biggie Shaq, how he doesn't always do a lot of talking in his 1976. Wow. He doesn't always do a lot of talking in his live streams, and he's just so relaxed at it. Doesn't seem to mind that there's not a lot of talking. I feel like I need to fill it all up, and that's right. ElfQuest #1 magazine. That's one of those things that you'd think would be more sought after these days. I mean, kind of like Bone. You know, the first appearance of Bone #1. That's a pricey book, but I don't think ElfQuest is, and I don't even think this is the first appearance. ElfQuest #1 was published in 1978. Seems like the characters of ElfQuest appeared somewhere before this. But I'm not an ElfQuest expert by any stretch. So I don't know. For some reason, I have 2 copies of number 16. So, but you know, sometimes you just pick things up. Ooh. Here we go. Little Foom action. Friends of Old Marvel, number 16. And looks like what we have here is a picture of the bullpen. Now, I'm still unclear, even after years of being a Marvel fan, as to whether or not the bullpen ever actually looked like this. That many people. I just don't know. I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying, I don't know. Let's see what we got in here. Just looking art-wise, I'm not necessarily looking at all of the photos and who's who. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and read this sometime because Deathlock versus Devil Slayer. Now, I did no, that's not it. That's not what I'm thinking. Never mind. But it is an article with David Anthony Kraft about says the story behind the story is recollected by the author. Deathlock versus Devil Slayer. That I have that issue. That's why it sparked a memory in me. I had that issue because I did a kind of a video about that character. That was Rich Buckler's character, and he had it first at Atlas Seaboard in the 70s, and then took it to Marvel, and then did his own magazine, Galaxia, which was only 1 issue. It was in there. So that's what was making me think about that. Ooh, here's a Marie Severin interview. The Foom interview with Marie Severin. Gotta love Marie. Talented artist and sweet. And Smiling Stanley, Mirthful Marie, and Jazzy Johnny Romita admire the first ever Spider-Man costume as modeled by rascally Roy Thomas. Whoa! Roy Thomas is in the Spider-Man costume. That took guts. All right. Very cool. I would love to acquire more issues of Foom, but they are not easy to come by. Not at all. Okay. Now, this is very cool. I've seen this image of the Marvel Comics Memory Album calendar from 1977. It was illustrated. The cover is a triumphant team up of two artistic titans, Kirby and Romita. But this one, for the first time, I'd never seen just Jack's pencils before it was inked by John Romita. But there you go. There's the Kirby original in the top, and the Romita inks. Okay. Wait, that wasn't the end, was it? Oh, there's much more. Hey, sleepy reader. No, I'm not at the end yet. This is a lazy, non-planned out live stream. I'm just going through a magazine box. And, okay, so I just pulled out this issue of Foom, this copy of Foom number 16, and it has the cover that shows, and I was musing as to whether or not the Marvel bullpen ever actually looked like that. If it did, I could see where the legend comes from and how it could have been either very distracting or very stimulating artistically to work there. But here in one of the last pages, or maybe it is the last page. Here is the guide. I'm not even going to try to read all the fine print. I'll do that later. But there is the key as to who's who in that huge picture. So interesting stuff. Now, Sleepy, I'm well aware, and I've stated before, I'm well aware. I don't know if it takes skill to do good live streams. So if you feel like you're about to doze off, feel free to leave. You won't hurt my feelings a bit. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Foom hits my nostalgia button as well. And I have more of those in here, I believe. What did I just... There we go. Let's see. I don't have many. I have precious few, but I'd like to acquire more. But they are not easy to come by. Here's number 19. A much better cover. Pops. Boom. Okay. Looks like a Steranko image or two in there. If it's not completely Steranko. I don't think it is completely Steranko. But I'm thinking that Hulk, it might be hard to... This is a low res camera, but I'm thinking that Hulk image might be a Steranko. I'm not sure. Well, you're chopping veggies. Well, good deal. Well, don't cut yourself. Mind your fingers. Another Foomtastic preview feature. Oh, this was the Silver Surfer. This was the they're hyping the Silver Surfer book from Fireside, or for Simon & Schuster. I'm sorry. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby doing their last Surfer story. I've got that graphic novel. There's some nice Kirby art, though. No, the whole idea of this live stream, Sleepy, was just to be on here because I could do this on my own, just for fun. Go through these boxes from time to time, and just look at the material that's inside and ooh and ah. And I thought, turn on the camera and do a live stream, share it. Nothing exciting, unless you're a hardcore comic geek. Oh, wow. So here's an ad. Not an ad even. It's a Defender's checklist. There you go. And it has the old and the new. The old, our pal Sal Buscema penciled and inked this dazzling display of the original non-team members getting their feet wet. And then creative Keith Giffen and Royal Mike Royer combined efforts to present this mind-blowing dramatization of the latest lineup, rising from the ruins. So you have Sal Buscema. Oh, you were a FOOM member. See, I was never able to do that. And you have all the issues. Good for you, man. That's awesome. That's really neat. But there's a Sal's image of the Defenders. And then there's Giffen's Defenders. Much busier, much more detailed. My goodness. Giffen is one of those guys I appreciate his talent. I've just never had an eye for it. I've never really had that much of an eye for Keith Giffen's work. But I know he has quite the following. Lots of people love Keith Giffen and his work. Just flipping through, looking for anything else interesting. Well, there's a cool little piece, Jack Kirby piece with Captains America and Britain. Very cool. Now, I was also musing Sleepy about Biggie Shack being able to do. He does so many live streams, and he never seems under pressure to talk a lot. Sometimes he talks a lot. Sometimes he shows stuff. Sometimes it's almost like he sits there and listens to music. You know, but I admire him just being able to get on there and do his thing. Here's a 60s fanzine called The Golden Age, number 5. This is the only issue I have, but it is in wonderful condition. Got a nice Don Newton cover. Yeah, Biggie is very relaxed. Okay, I like it though. He's secure in doing what he does. Okay. Some of the reproduced strips in here weren't reproduced really well. But I guess back then, you know, if you couldn't get them, this was better than nothing. Okay. Huh. Lots of articles and some reproduced strips. Now here's a cool Don Newton Catman illustration. And again, this is let me look for the date on this. I have a sticker on the plastic sleeve that says 60s fanzine. Let me check the date. Now see these okay, so here's a Blonde Phantom illustration. Should have shown that one. Dated 1969. So 69 to 70, I'm going to say. It might all be 69, knowing how slow sometimes the fanzines moved. It might have been 70. Oh, cool. Here's an EC quiz they did for their fans. I know I would fail it. I'm an admirer of EC, but I don't know enough about it to pass one of those quizzes, I'm sure. Yeah, Don, he isn't forgotten by me or you or a few others, but it does seem that he is, ever since he came to my knowledge and I started recognizing the good work he did, it didn't seem like there were enough fans out there. that either cared about his art or even remembered him. But Don actually was, I think, an extraordinary artist. Here's another great, and this is a great, I love this stylized version of Batman. I don't know Don's, I don't know when he started in Pro Comics. If you do, give me an idea. Because I have some of this stuff, even though it's really good, it has the look of fan art, and that's not a knock. Because I've seen some fan art, and you probably have too. That's better than so-called pro art in some cases. But I love that stylized Batman. I love how the bat. Come on, this camera. I love how the bat emblem, how the bat breaks the borders of the moon on on his chest. That's just very cool, I think. And it has kind of an Earth One look to it, but something different, you know. But I love that. And so that's cool. And then here's a, oh, wow. Now this is going to be early Rich Buckler because this is obviously fan art. Here's the Phantom, recreated by Richard, as he signed it, Richard Buckler. So that is kind of cool. Okay. So an early Rich Buckler piece. That's why collectors who are into the fanzines, that's why, because you can find so many art pieces by some of your, either your favorites or very well-known artists. You can find stuff from their fan days, which is just really nice. You like to see their work from the days. Oh, wait. Okay, now that, I'm sorry, I don't know who did this. There's a wonderful, wow, blew my socks off and I almost missed it. Fanzines for a very long time. The Phantom at Charlton and on to Batman, etc. in DC. I think Newton was a famous fanzine artist. I would believe that, and I know he did the Phantom because he did some extraordinary Phantom covers. He died young. Okay, I knew he was gone. I didn't know how old he was when he passed, but he did some extraordinary Phantom covers when he was doing those for, it wasn't Gold Key. Who was it? Was it Charlton? But did some great Phantom covers. Okay, I'm not sure who did this illustration on the back because they cut off the, there was a signature down there, but this Hawkman illustration, get a load of that. That's amazing. Those wings are insane. I mean, look at the plumage. And I'm not sure who did that. And there doesn't seem to be. And that was another, I'll say gripe. Some of these fanzines did not always do a good job of noting their artists who did work inside. Here were these fan artists who were busting their behinds to do justice to some of their favorite characters. And then you might not even know the name until the next issue when they say, oh, and by the way, so-and-so did this, or they cut off their signature. Now at the bottom, I can see where somebody was signed their name. But anyway, that's an amazing image. That's an amazing image. Very cool. Very stylized, very realistic. Wow. That's just cool. All right. What else we got down here? I have. Hey, Sleepy, are you a Hembeck fan? You like Fred Hembeck? I have all, I think, but one. I think I'm missing one of the Hembeck magazines. I guess they were all. Not sure what if they were all dial H. Yeah, dial H for Hembeck. I don't even know if these are in. Okay, here's. Okay, let me get them. Why are these bagged together? Two are bagged together and the others aren't in bags at all. Well, this is how I roll. Yes. Yeah, his crazy knees and elbows. Yeah. There's only one. Okay, here we go. Well, I have all but number 5, it looks like. Hembeck 1980. And not only one of them, they all say Hembeck, only one of them, I think, said dial H for Hembeck. In fact, this one's just titled Even in the Indicia. Hembeck 1980. There you go. With 3D Man and 3D Man and 3D Man. I don't know. I actually got these magazines a few years ago. There was a local Black Friday sale I would go to at a comic shop in Tulsa. I did it for over a decade. Last year I bowed out going early. I'm not going early again this year. I'm getting too old for that. I would go and I'd get there as early as 6:30 in the morning for a sale at a store that didn't open until like 10 o'clock. And I just got tired of, it sounds kind of petty, but I got tired of adults, some of us standing out there for hours, other adults sitting in their vehicles or coming late and finding out you've got somebody holding a spot for them in a line, 6 places ahead of you, and no one there overseeing anything because the owners aren't going to stand out there. And so when you leave adults to act like adults, they don't always adult well. So I'll just say that, okay? Okay, so here's Hembeck number 2. Okay, and that's, I tell you, Hembeck could be self-deprecating better than just about anybody else. Al Milgrom probably is the only one that comes close. But to draw himself, even a characterization of himself in a Wonder Woman outfit, that takes guts. Okay, so there's all of the insides or the interiors are black and white, though there's a very cool homage kind of to Ditko with the Spider-Man stuff. But anyway, my story was, I forgot what I was saying. I got all of these at the Black Friday sale a few years ago at Wizards Asylum for they came out to be like 30 cents a piece. And nobody else cared. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's almost the entire run of Dial H for Hembeck. 30 cents. There's a meeting of the Human Torch and Martian Manhunter, and then he died. Okay. So, of course he would, wouldn't he? But at least Johnny's being nice and not shaking with a hand that's flamed up. All right. There's the back cover. I haven't been showing the back covers. Bah Hembeck. Is this the face of Dr. Doom? If it is, then we don't have to worry nearly as much about Dr. Doom as we thought. Because how dangerous can he be? Back cover. Oh, wow. The most colorful imaginary story ever. Superman red, Superman blue, Superman yellow, Superman green, Superman orange. Visit Krypton. Look at all the colorful Superman. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. $5 to $6 a piece. That would be, I would think, pretty standard. This one's got a thicker cover, cardstock cover, September 1981. And it's a double cover spread. Jimmy Olsen's pal, Fred Hembeck. Gotta love it. And then I think this is the last issue I have. Though I'm going to go back and show you some of those back covers. Dial H for Hembeck. and his illustrations of the Teen Titans. And then on the back, got the grown-up DC heroes. Oh, wait, Phoenix is in there too. How come? Okay, it's you got Marvel and DC heroes there. Okay, there we go. That's very cool. Let's see. Let's go back to the first one and see that very cool EC homage. Tip of the hat. Hembeck, 1980. And, ooh, a Blackhawk. What's he saying? I'm Blackhawk now, and don't you guys forget it. Now, I'm not a Blackhawk guy, so I don't know the significance of that unless I'm guessing that this was the old costume, what the old costumes looked like, and then this was the newer costume. That's what I'm guessing. And okay, so now I covered them all. I wonder if they'll all fit in that bag. No. All right, so I'll put 2 of them back in there. Get magazine bags for the rest of them. Unstick that tape because for your personal collection, you shouldn't have tape on those bags. Sleepy, do you use tape on your bags for your personal collection? Yeah, Hembeck is still doing submissions through Facebook. Last I checked, he does those. He does cards, little trading card size illustrations, and they're quite, from what I remember, they're quite affordable. And so, yeah, so he does that still. And that's cool. All right, let's see here. So do you use tape? Do you tape? Oh, you remove all tape. Too many tragic accidents. Amen, brother. I have had those. And yeah. Now, I keep stuff taped that I'm taking to cons and stuff like that. Because when people flip through them and then you got all the tops of the bags flopping and flipping around in there. And that bugs me, and that's probably my OCD, but because I'm slightly OCD. But, you know, it is what it is. This was something interesting I picked up years ago. I didn't pick it up for cover price. It's $15. But I got it because it's a nice representation of a lot of old Golden Age and Silver Age covers. This is a Greg Manning Auctions Incorporated. This is the fall 1999 comic auction. I never even heard of Greg Manning. You know, I think of, that was weird. I think of Tiffany's and Sotheby's. You ever hear ghost-like sounds in your home? I always think of Tiffany's and Sotheby's when I think of comic book auctions, but this is Greg Manning. Greg Manning. And had some, it's heavy stock paper with lots of great images of Golden Age and Silver Age books that were on auction at the time. This being, 26 years later, might be interesting to go through here and see what they sold for. I won't do that well, you know what? Yeah, I will. Let's pick a couple. Out here. Well, these are estimates though. And so we don't know but you can get a little bit from what they were estimating. Captain America number 19. Gorgeous glossy cover to glossy back cover and every nice page in between. Very solid, very fine. Captain America number 19, they were estimating at $1,800 to $2,400. Yeah, right there. I'm guessing that would be low compared to today's prices. But anyway, so that's an idea of what that is, the Greg Manning fall 1999 comic auction. So this was, I'm sure this went out probably at least weeks, maybe months before. I don't know. Excuse me. All right. Now, let me know if you have this one, Sleepy. You have a copy of Jack Kirby's In the Days of the Mob. In the Days of the Mob. Fun, fun, fun book. Okay. Excuse me. I should have had a bottle of water. Lots of great black and white Kirby illustrations. And yes, this one does have inside the poster of John Dillinger. That's what really makes this a collectible. You'll find a lot of copies of this without the poster, but oh, you have the hardback reprint. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a real fun. And I don't remember this one, as is the case with a lot of collectibles and a lot of collectors, I should say, who've been in this for. And I don't count myself as a collector until I reached the age of 12 or so. But I was reading comics before I was 7. I was 50. I'm 57 now. So over 50 years, I've been reading comics. I'd say by the age of 12, when I discovered Bags and Boards, that's when I was a collector. I was already recognizing artists' work, especially Sal Buscema and John Byrne, and even Kirby. Even though I didn't really even come to like Kirby until I was 40 or so, didn't come to appreciate him. But yeah, so I don't remember where I got this. That was my point. When you've been doing it for that long, you pull things out of boxes and you go, yeah, I'm really glad to have that. Where did I get that? I don't remember if it was on eBay or if it was at one of the numerous comic book sales I've been to over the years or what. Also, this has it at a, whoever wrote on this bag has it at a fine, but this is better than fine. Better than fine. Okay. And the poster is still attached in the middle as well. That's cool. This is got a couple of Jack Kirby magazines in here. I'm gonna forego those. Got some Justice Machine action. Speaking of John Byrne, there's a Justice Machine big premiere issue, cover by John Byrne, and kind of a washed out cover, honestly. Noble Comics. Justice Machine first was published by an outfit called Noble. Mike Gustovich, artist. Really a very appealing opening salvo there. And so I like that illustration. Now, I also have here, and I did a video on this. These were both in the same bag. I did a video on this about unintentional variants, printing error variants. Well, here's one. Boom. They're missing a shade of ink in this one. And I'm not sure if it's yellow. I tend to think it's yellow that they're missing. The yellow looks like it completely ran out on this one. I'm actually really happy to have both of these. This one, like, you know, and if you're like me, you don't care if it's popular. You don't care if it's hot. Okay. You remember buying that Justice Machine way back when at the first comic shop ever discovered. Yeah. You ever discovered. Yeah. And those memories are so cool. All right. Very cool. And I'm trying to see if the inside. Okay. The inside looks the same. So no, only the cover suffered. But I like that. I like the printing error. You know, that's kind of cool, I think. And so happy to have that. It's crazy though what people kind of, you know, what printing errors and stuff go for on books that people are hot. This is one that that people think are hot. This is one I tend to think kind of flies under people's radar. Here's another. Here's Justice Machine number 3. I don't have number 2, but here's number 3. And in the days way before any Image characters had blood in their name, here's he's insane, he's deadly, he's Bloodmaster. Okay, so I don't know, Liefeld was reading comics by this time, so there may have been, he's got the katana sword, or a sword anyway, he's got a sword, and he's a killer. He may have been an early, even subconsciously, he may have been an influence for Deadpool, who knows? All right, so got some red in his costume. There's his first, and boy, does he have a winner of a smile. Look at that! Look at that grin. Okay, I'm thinking that he's probably a little bit of a wiseacre. Just looking at his body language and his facial expressions. But he's definitely a killer. Definitely a killer. All right. I really wonder. I wonder now if this was an early. I used to be able to I used to be able to contact Liefeld through Facebook and stuff. I'm not even sure we're Facebook friends anymore. I'm Facebook friends with a lot of comics professionals from my days writing for Michael Vance's column. I don't know who that. But anyway, I almost would peg him for an early Deadpool influence on a young Liefeld. Maybe not though. Who knows? Here's an illustration or a Justice Machine next issue, The Free Force. I don't know if I have the next issue. I'll look here a bit, but it's a Rich Buckler illustration, I believe. I think that's what it said. No, that's Reinhold and Gustavich. It said the front cover would be Rich Buckler. Back cover Jerry Bingham. Well, let's see. I have issue number 4. I have one other issue of a magazine size Justice Machine or close to it. Got number 4. They shrunk a little from Justice Machine, I think, I remember when I discovered Justice Machine, it was kind of inspiring, simply because, in a sense, simply because it wasn't Marvel or DC. And, they were doing big, bold superheroes. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And, okay, so A Force for Freedom. Here, Justice Machine was still, this is volume 1, number 4, 1982. It was still bigger than your standard comic by a bit, but not, not magazine size. And then on the flip side, Blue Cobalt number 4, or Cobalt Blue number 4. Okay, so a flip book. That's interesting. Who did the art for Cobalt Blue? Mike Gustavich. Okay, so that would probably be why Bill Reinhold took over pencils for Justice Machine. Anyway, so kind of cool. Some look at the inside here. So I like the old. You probably know Sleepy, because you've watched plenty of my videos. You probably know I like the indies from 70s and 80s and some from the 90s. Even though indies really they started to come into their own in the 90s. So they weren't as rare. They weren't as, somehow they just weren't as endearing. Here's an interesting and kind of difficult to find reprint book of Golden Age stories. I used to see ads for this in Marvel Comics. This is the first edition, the Magnificent Superheroes of Comics Golden Age. They wouldn't even show this in the right in the right colors. Okay. Hey, thanks for stopping by, man. And thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. All right. But superheroes, the magnificent superheroes of comics golden age. So in here is the Hangman, Daredevil, the Shield, the Web, Captain Battle, the Wizard, Magno, Blackjack, Lightning, Blue Bolt, Mr. Scarlet, and Steel Sterling. And so there's the book. Very, very thick, 120 pages. Okay. All black and white illustrations inside. Here's one. Here's the Daredevil. So cool stuff. I ought to have that in a bag, and I don't. It's a little slip shot of me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Marvel graphic novel. Number 3, Dreadstar by Jim Starlin, of course. Gorgeous painted cover. This was, of course, continuing his work from, what was it, the Epic magazine? This is actually a 4th printing. So, and all of this was painted by Starlin. Wow. Some wonderful. See you, Sleepy. Enjoy your family. Wonderful painted Jim Starlin art. Great stuff. Beautiful to look at. And then there's the back cover. Wow. I'd say Starlin ought to paint more. I don't think I've ever seen. I don't even know, did he paint his Dreadstar stuff in Epic? I don't know. I don't think I've seen much of it. I thought that was all black and white, penciled. That's gorgeous. Beautiful. And let's see here. Just 1 or 2 more. Well, that's interesting. Okay, I have here the Marvel Mania monthly magazine, coverless, unfortunately. That's very unfortunate. Copyright 1970. So this would have predated Foom. Interesting. I'm not sure I knew I had this. Okay, so here is a strip called the Crackerjack Crew. It's like you got a bunch of mini Marvel heroes in here. Someone spilled coffee on the back. Wait a minute, this may not, yeah, I guess this is coverless. I mean, they wouldn't have done it. Yeah, it's coverless. Okay. Hard to tell because it's all like thin cardboard stock. Okay, well, family's home. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. But anyway, hey, thanks, Sleepy Reader. You have saved this live stream video from being deleted. And it was great having you along. So thanks for coming along and commenting. Appreciate you. And for anyone who comes along and watches this later, I appreciate you as well. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next video or live stream.